beautiful people again. Good to see you on another week of the SoulChic TV. And today we have a beautiful young lady from SoThisisFate YouTube Channel. And she's also African from Congo, I believe.
Cameroon.
Okay, from Cameroon.
We're all African. It's okay.
It matters. I can't say it doesn't matter. It matters. But anyways, welcome Atembe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me.
Good. It's good to have you.
I know. It's good to see you.
So before we go into anything, we always share the experiences of people coming to Korea. So why you chose to come to Korea?
Well, I came to Korea first before I was married. I came really because I always wanted to travel and experience new cultures, and for some reason I thought I would do that in the US with an international company. I don't know why. I never thought about going abroad to do it, but
did you study international business or something?
I studied international studies and global cultures and global arts. So I've always been interested in that, but I was always apprehensive about teaching, even though I have a family full of teachers and I really like working.
Probably why you didn't want to teach. Yeah.
I just wanted to avoid it. I saw the headache you would go through in America, but honestly it was just some prayer, a lot of prayer, not some. And I decided that I wanted to go abroad while I had the time, and I had the support of my good friends and my close family and my now husband. So I came in 2014 to Seoul all by myself.
Wow.
And it felt kind of crazy because I'm like, I don't know anything about this culture, but that was a lot of the reason why I wanted to go. I just wanted to experience something new, something that no one else I knew had ever done.
You had lived in a different country before here?
Yeah, I've studied abroad.
I
studied abroad in France, and I visited my family in Cameroon for the
French?
Summer. Just a little.
Cool.
Don't come up to me talking in French. I'm gonna say lentement, slow down.
You won't hear anything from me. I don't speak any of that.
Yeah, so being abroad, it wasn't new, but like being away from family for a whole year, and before I was a student, now I'm like a working adult. I have to take care of my own bills and my own way of life.
So you came to Korea as a student before?
No, but anytime I had traveled internationally, I was kind of, being taken care of. I had a homestay family, or I had my real family. So coming to Korea was a huge leap for me in my independence and just figuring out who I am and what I'm trying to do in this world.
And we'll get more into that later. I think it gets deeper and nicer from there. Cool, thank you. And so I really like this segment because we hear so many different reasons why people are coming into this country and stuff like that. It's quite interesting. So good to hear that. So now our guest is going to share with us her favorite quote. Please go ahead.
This is just one of my favorite quotes. It is, "We are all extraordinary people capable of extraordinary things."
Wow, why that quote?
I love this quote because it's basically twofold. So one, we're all super ordinary, we're super regular, super basic at the end of the day. We're all human beings, but despite that, we're all capable of so much, and it depends on who we are as individuals. So even though we're all humans, we're all in this world together, each of us has something special that we can bring to the world and share with the world.
So I think the quote is just like perfect, like it leads into, I think, a bit of what we will talk about today when we spoke before. And so it's like, I'll just frame it this way: what is a struggle that you have been dealing with right now in your life as a young woman, young adult, trying to figure out life in this maze?
Well, it hasn't just started in my adult life. Probably since high school. Something that's just an ongoing journey for me is my identity and who I am as a person. And the reason is, ever since I was younger, I feel like I've always been in an environment where I'm not quite like everybody else. So, you know, I grew up in very suburban white America, and I'm a Cameroonian American child. So I have parents from Cameroon. They have different accents. My house is a different culture. And then I was always one of the few black kids in my class. And I was very young when I noticed that I'm not quite like everyone else, and I didn't know if that was okay or not. Like, it took me a while to see that it was okay, and that there are things about myself that I shouldn't be afraid to embrace. But it's something that it's a process, you know. I'm still going through it now, like, as I'm older and I'm coming into my own independence and really being engaged in the world, like being international, being in a completely new environment. It's hard to be in a new place, and you want to fit in and adjust, but you don't want to lose who you are. And I think
that's a big thing.
I think it can be a tricky process for people, because, you know, how much of yourself do you give, and how much of yourself do you keep, and how much do you adjust, and without losing yourself or even like betraying yourself.
So you also mentioned that there were a few things about yourself that you were not, you didn't know if it was okay. About to be that way or to have that. Can you give an example? What are some of those things?
Sure. I do. I'm just, okay, so right off the bat, I'm naturally an introvert.
Oh, okay.
So I have a calm nature, observant, kind of quiet, and at least where I grew up, that was odd. I don't know if it's American culture or just where I grew up, but people like people who talk, people like extroverted, outgoing people. So I'm not like that, and I think there are some stereotypes in play, being a black girl, like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And it just wasn't me, and I always felt like, why do people ask me what's wrong when I'm not talking? Why do people act like I've been mean to them when I haven't said anything to them, and I don't know them at all just because I'm quiet? So that's a part of my identity that even today, I still have to remind myself to embrace and just be comfortable sitting in it. You know, meeting new people, I hate forcing myself to go out and talk to people. I used to do that. Like, I used to say, okay, I have to try harder. But I always felt like I was being fake. And I feel like it might have come across that way too, I'm not sure. But I never felt good about the interaction, because I felt like, this isn't even who I am. Like, I'm showing you a part of myself, but I don't think it's the real part of me. So just being comfortable in sitting back, being comfortable in being the observer, being comfortable being the friend who listens and maybe not the wild and crazy friend, is still something like I'm coming into today.
You can dance though?
I can dance now.
Oh, okay, now. So you had to learn.
I can dance now.
Because that's my struggle.
I had to learn. So when it comes to performing, I read that a lot of celebrities are shy and introverted as well. And I feel like it's something about performing, and even for me, teaching is almost like a performance. I love giving presentations. I love dancing, performing. I feel like it's just an outlet where you get to show part of yourself without having to be within the confines of yourself, you know?
I get that a lot. You're African, you can't dance, you know, you're not loud, you don't do all these things, and I'm just like, should I learn these things, or, you know, and stuff like that. So I get what you're saying. It's what I'm trying to say. And so, do you think that has affected, I mean, obviously you said it affected you. So can you just share with us in some ways that has affected you, even in your work or deciding what to do as an adult in terms of your life? When I was in school, like university, I really was interested in advertising and business and marketing. And
I got different internships. Like I got a really good internship in a really big corporate agency, and it was one of those places where, you know, everyone's like scrambling to be on top and to be noticed and to be seen and to be heard. And even today, I can't stand, it's probably strong words, but I can't stand being in a group of people where people just talk to hear themselves. And I feel like those kind of really competitive environments, that's what people are doing.
You're a YouTuber though.
I am. However, if you look at my page, you will see I definitely go on my own schedule. I don't put things out every day.
True.
And you know, I consider myself a competitive person in a different way. I knew that when I was in that environment, that's not the kind of environment I wanted to be in, where you say things just to say things, even if they're not sincere, or where you have to be so extra just to be seen and just to be noticed. And there were times when I wasn't sure what kind of career was right for me, because I do like to work individually, and it took a while for me to figure out my place in a team setting. And part of that was because I'm so used to being the observer. You know, sometimes I get pushed to the background. So I realized that, you know, being introvert or being quiet doesn't mean that I'm meek, or it doesn't mean I don't have something to say. It doesn't mean I don't have a voice. I've never believed any of those things about myself. Like there's always something going on in my head. And I also noticed that a lot of other people I notice who are quiet or the observers in their group, it doesn't mean they're bored or they're boring or they don't have anything to add. We're just processing internally. And so I figured out, you know, when I'm in a group setting, it's okay to be that person, but when I have an opinion, I have to voice it, you know.
All right, so I know that right now in your life, you're going through something that a lot of young people our age go through, which is being in the confusing, whatever stage, right? Where you have talent, you have degrees, but you don't know what to do with your life, right? So do you want to share some light on that for us? How are you dealing with that? And, you know, how can people deal with situations like that?
Definitely. So I've always been a creative person. I've always enjoyed the arts, visual arts, performing arts, but partially, or I guess a lot of it because of my upbringing. I think other people with any immigrant parent can understand that they work hard to get to the country they're in, and they just want you to pursue a path that is kind of guaranteed for success. And being an artist or a creative is usually so risky to them, or something they don't see as a viable career or lifestyle. And so it's always been an internal struggle for me, not just because of that, but also because there are so many things that I like to do and that I think I'm talented in. It's hard to hone in on one without feeling like I'm disregarding the other things, or I'm not going to put any time into the other things. So something that I had to do growing up, it was kind of like something I decided for myself, was like bargain with myself, you know, like, okay, I'm in high school right now and I really want to go to this type of school or pursue this kind of career, but my parents and even some of my teachers, they were telling me to go in a more academic direction. So I just decided, okay, I can do that. That's not a problem. I can do that, but I'm going to continue pursuing what I like to do on the side. And so all through university, that's basically what I did. I was still actually trying to appease people by pursuing majors that I should not have pursued, such as business, and you know, people wanted me to be a doctor and engineer, and I hate science classes. Science is great. Science courses are not my cup of tea. So, you know, it really took, I got my first bad grade ever in college. Of all places, you work so hard to get to college, and then you get a bad grade, and I was like, what am I doing? This is not even what I want to do. And I know it can be hard when you feel cultural pressures and societal pressures and just people close to you. They expect so much from you, and they think so highly of you, and they just want what's best for you. But at the end of the day, you really have to just be honest with yourself and, you know, look at who you are. I am not a mathematician. I am not a scientist. I am not that cutthroat businesswoman. I am a creative. I like to put my ideas into action. I like to develop new things. So I had to just be honest with myself and embrace that part of myself. And, you know, by the time I left college, I knew that I couldn't follow a traditional career path. And now I'm here in Korea today with a very non-traditional career path.
And how's that been going for you?
It's been a really great learning experience, a life experience. I think what's made me the most comfortable is knowing that I'm doing something I decided for myself.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about that last week in our episode about, you know, deciding and kind of making your own decisions based on how you decide to do things and not based on like cultural pressures and stuff like that. And so I think that's really important. Yeah, and so it's kind of a good path to go as long as you know you did it. You face the consequences.
Exactly, and you know it's okay. Yeah. It's okay if things don't work out or if things even go downhill for a while. It's my decision. It's a decision I made. It's a hole I can dig myself out of. It feels much better than feeling like someone else put me here. Yeah. And I didn't have any control over it.
And you're lucky your husband came with you.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, he came, he wanted to come too. Yeah. But it's really great. I mean, even if it wasn't my husband, even if no one came with me, just having that support system, even if it's just one person, you know, one person to reaffirm what you think and feel about yourself and who you are is great.
So have you figured out what you want to do now?
No. Not completely, but I know that this is just like a midpoint. It's not the final point. You know, teaching has shown me a lot about myself, that I do love working with young people. I do love helping them see new things and think about things in a new way, and being in a new culture, exposing kids to a new culture. I really enjoy that. And I would, like, I never thought about education before. So coming here and seeing this new side of education it's made me happy to see that maybe I could be in education, maybe not teaching in a traditional sense, but something non-traditional. That's who I am. I'm very non-traditional.
Just do those things. Well, thank you. I just want you to talk a little bit to the people, or, you know, people our age, who maybe going through the same situations, who are fighting to kind of look like they got everything figured out, but we all know the truth that, you know, things are not figured out, and they're struggling every day, feeling like, you know, why can't I be like that person? Why they have everything figured out and they're 20, they're this, you know, and stuff like that. What do you have to say to, you know, such people, myself included?
My advice would be, first of all, just don't worry about other people, because you don't know how long it took for them to get where they are. You don't know if they're even happy where they are. So, like, one thing that I have to do is keep myself off of social media for certain periods of time, because you start comparing and you start feeling bad, and you never know, someone might be looking up to you and where you are. Someone might admire where you are right now. You know, if you don't have the job you thought you'd have, it doesn't matter. You can still be a role model to someone else. And I think that you shouldn't give up what you love to do. There's always a way for you to do what you like, and it might not be what pays the bills, but it could be. But you can't just throw it to the side. You can't just give up on it. You can't just be stagnant. So always keep moving is my advice. Keep moving, keep trying.
So find something to do, and do that until you figure yourself out, you know, so don't give up.
But you may never figure yourself out. I think
That's scary.
That's something I want to say. That's something I'm realizing.
That's very scary.
You may never figure yourselves out, you know. Like, I feel like I'm getting to the age where I even look at my parents and I'm like, you guys really didn't know what you were doing. But we as kids thought you guys were superheroes, you know? You never figure it out. You might not.
So I guess you just keep working.
Yeah, just keep
Until
doing the
something
best
makes
you
it
can.
happen.
You really do, and don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us again. And I think this topic is really relevant because myself included, like I said before, a lot of people our age are at this stage in their life where they feel like I should have had everything figured out. I had my life plan, you know, to be living at 23, and now I'm here almost 30, still struggling. But that's okay. That is okay. Like she said, do not compare. Keep working hard and try to find yourself. Don't freak out. You know, you are okay. Just don't stop. Keep figuring it out. I hope to see you next week. But before you go, comment and subscribe, share, like, and also do remember that you can send a message to me via any of the platforms available, and you know, to let me know if there's something you want to share, either a recorded version on the interview or something that you just want me to read to our audiences. Like I said last week, we will be starting a Tips Tuesday or Thursday, and we can share those on there as well. Thank you, have a great week, and see you next week. Okay, bye, thank you. That was wrong, but wait, which side are we going?